For a little over 2 months, I've been subscribed to HelloFresh, and between delicious food that I've never tried and food that I paid for but never actually received, it's been a completely different experience than the traditional way of preparing dinner. And I'm going to tell you all about it in this video. To get started with HelloFresh, you're going to begin by selecting some of your preferences, how many meals you want, how many servings you want in each meal, and after entering some payment and shipping information, it's time to start selecting your meals. This part has really impressed me. Each week we have no problem finding 5 to 6 meals that look delicious, and it took about 3 to 4 weeks before we had our first repeated recipe that popped up in the selection, so there's plenty of variety. After selecting your meals, you can add extra items. These are typically snack foods, desserts. We usually don't add too many extras, but the clearance section is always worth checking out. After you've made all your selections, just sit back and wait until your delivery date. In the meantime, if you do change your mind on something, you can go in and edit any of your selections until your box ships out. If there's one thing I was for sure nervous about, it was ordering food through the mail, but HelloFresh actually does a really good job with their packaging. To start out, you have the recipes on top. All the recipes have their own individual cards with the directions on the back. And inside, on top, you have all of your meals. They come in this brown bag. Inside of each bag is all the ingredients to each recipe. And underneath that, you have some ice packs that will contain any meat or any goods that need to be cooled. HelloFresh estimates that their food is going to be good for up to 48 hours after the expected delivery date, which is pretty impressive. We've got chicken and fish and stuff with each meal, and we have yet to receive anything that was bad. So overall, that's a win. And as far as storage goes, that is one thing I really like about HelloFresh. We just put each meal into one of these plastic containers and then put lids on those, pop that in the fridge, and then you just grab that whenever you're ready to start cooking. Depending on your order, you may receive 1 or 2 boxes, but the packaging is consistent with both. Now, a quick disclaimer, I do know my way around the kitchen, so your experience may vary. But I was extremely satisfied with how easy it was to prepare each meal. The recipes are simple and it didn't take much time to prepare. As I mentioned before, it's been nice to try things that I never would have, such as lemony spaghetti or couscous. Perhaps the best part of HelloFresh is if I ever decide to cancel, I have a whole cookbook of recipes that I can use to avoid going back to eating the same 10 to 15 things each week. Over 30 plus recipes we've tried, there's only been like 1 or 2 that I wouldn't want to eat again. Of course, each person's taste will vary, but I've found myself more excited to cook dinner recently because of how easy and tasty it's been. While I have enjoyed using HelloFresh over the last couple months, it hasn't been all perfect though. About a month ago, we placed a typical order. It was 6 meals, 4 servings each. And whenever our shipment date rolled around, we only received half of our meals. We had been using HelloFresh for about a month at this point, and that's really all the groceries we buy. We buy a few snacks here and there, but for the most part, that is our groceries. So whenever we didn't receive half of them, we were a little concerned. I wasn't super concerned because on the app it did at least reflect that we had only received half of our order, so I had hope that we would possibly receive it the next day. So it was time to put HelloFresh's customer service to the test. I started with a phone call to customer service and it ended with us basically being told to wait and see what happens. That was a little concerning considering that that was the bulk of what we were going to be eating for the next week, and we had already paid for it but had yet to receive it. And at this point, even if we did receive it, I wasn't confident that it was still going to be any good. I took the representative's advice though and waited until the next day, when I was pleasantly surprised whenever an agent reached out to us via the HelloFresh app. And not only did the agent acknowledge that we did not receive the box, they credited the full cost for that whole week and then gave us another $20 credit to our account on top of that. Of course, it's not HelloFresh's fault that the food got lost, and I really didn't even mind paying for the food that we did receive, but they went above and beyond and did what they didn't have to, and I think they should be recognized for that. So let's talk about the price. HelloFresh claims to be cheaper than eating out, which, let's face it, really isn't that hard to do, but they also claim that they are cheaper than shopping at your typical grocery store. While there's a lot of factors that play into this, like where you live and where you shop at and what type of food you eat on a regular basis, HelloFresh is pretty well within what we would typically spend on groceries. And whenever you combine that with the convenience of HelloFresh, having somebody plan the meals, give you the recipe on how to cook these meals, step-by-step instructions, to me it's well worth the cost. You do also have to consider the fact that HelloFresh does not quite provide everything. You do have to provide the basics like oil, butter, salt, and pepper, and we typically like to get a few things to snack on and take with us for lunch, stuff like that. So it's not all of our groceries, but it is 90% of them. So overall, what do I think about HelloFresh? Well, I've had a great experience. I'm not gonna lie, I plan on continuing the service for quite some time. Even whenever something went bad, they took good care of me. It's easy, it's affordable, I've been eating healthier, and that's all you can really ask for. Let me know your thoughts on HelloFresh down in the comments below. If you've been thinking about trying them and have any questions, also feel free to ask me. And if you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much. Be sure to leave it a like, it really helps the channel grow. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.